Hello everybody, welcome to episode 9 of Shonen Shorts, where today we'll be going over the March 29th issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. Now this week I read Gonron Egg, Under Doctor, and Alien Headbutt. Also read One Piece, but I made a separate video on that and I just explained why. But yeah, so Gonron Egg this week, it was the final chapter. And we see as, Oma ends up using a attack known as Miasma Dragon on Reigoku, and this ultimately ends up essentially destroying Reigoku because it kind of eats her from the inside out, and this ultimately leads to the defeat of Reigoku. And we see as she sort of like decomposes, like loses her limbs and all that, and ultimately she's taken up by Solga, the masochist princess in chapter 13, but Princess Masochist. But taken up by her, and she's left to be interrogated and all that stuff to figure out information from her. Then we actually get to see Agito, who is the king of the Dracards, and we see as he's chilling in his palace, and he's just kind of chilling, and we see as Iris comes up to him, and Iris has an egg, so we can presume that Agito has a child, just like Oma. And she's taking care of the egg, and we see how Agito's discussing, and he's discussing his plans with the humans and why he's eradicating humanity. And we see as he actually has human children in his castle in the land of Gondola. And he's taking care of him, and he shows an obvious affection for him. However, he's talking about how he's eradicating humanity to weed out all of the bad humans. So he's essentially restarting humanity essentially from scratch, so that he can have a good society of humans. But yeah, and then after that we kind of see as then we get like perspective of Nell and all like the remaining commanders, all that, who actually lived through the battle of Reigoku, and we see as Gonron and Oma are standing outside the walls of Gondola, actually, and Gonron mentions how he's going to make Oma king, and then it ends in a cliffhanger. Now, I know that Gonron Egg was canceled, and therefore that's why the ending came so early, but we're probably not going to get a sequel series, and we end on this big cliffhanger. Like, okay, we could have just left it off at that and just have Reigoku being the defeat, like being the thing, but no, they purposefully left us at a cliffhanger. I believe the author's name is Tanizaki, and it's like Shuhei Tanizaki, but yeah. Bro is an op for that one, but I pray that we get a sequel series, and I want to see more from Shuhei Tanizaki because their work is really good. I love the art style, and I love the story. The story was really good for Gonron Egg until it had to get rushed out because it got canceled, which is very tragic. I feel like it's so sad recently that all of these like really good shonen series are getting cut off, just like Ultra of the Flame. But yeah, then we go on for that, and we have Under Doctor. Now, Under Doctor, this week we see as Lian Ya, or Kong, I believe that's his name. He actually survived and is currently living, and he has gone to Las Vegas to find an assassin by the name of Maximilian Carter, or the Miracle Man, and he's the best American assassin. He's going to hire him so that he can put a hit out on Haji. Now we see as Haji is he's helping with another client who's on the 44th floor of this hospital, and he's preparing him for a surgery and all that good stuff, and we see as ultimately Maximilian Carter ends up coming in during this time, and we see as Chu was like, oh, yo, I know who you are and all that good stuff, and he's like, where your boss at? And Haji ends up going down the hallway after he realizes what's going on. He tells his patient to stay in the room, and he recognizes and identifies Maximilian Carter and all that stuff, calls it the Miracle Man, the Apple Man, all that good stuff, because he eats apples, which is one of his characteristic things already. And he rushes at Haji and like knocks him down, like knocks his glasses off and all that stuff. So Haji might have his work cut out for him next chapter, because honestly I do not know how powerful Maximilian Carter is, because I mean this is quite the impressive feat, and he's also, like I said, the greatest assassin in America. So I'm ready to see how he deals with the Under Doctor. But yeah, crap, what was I gonna say? And also, I really like Maximilian Carter's design so far. Like, he has a sick design, and he's only been in here for one chapter, but I cannot wait to see more of him already. But then we go on to Alien Headbutt, and in Alien Headbutt, we see as Uga's continuing to go through his plan with trying to save Tatsumi by acquiring the parasite from like the boss pterosaur alien. But however, it is starting to like spin like a drill and chase him down, and he runs through a forest and all that stuff, and he ends up getting a flashback to when he was training with one of his trainers, and we see as the chairman of his wrestling group ends up coming in as well, a wrestling federation, and throughout all this, he's talking about how he wants to learn every wrestling move rather than knowing a specific one, so the audience never knows what's going to come from him, and so he becomes the best wrestler of all time. And his tutor actually kind of degrades it a little bit. He's like, that's kind of bland, and you're not much of a wrestler if you don't have a signature move. However, he's like, yeah, I don't want a signature. I want to make the people excited. And so the chairman's like, yo, I actually respect that in you, and we're going to go to Mexico, and you're going to learn the legal moves, because the legal moves are never expected. And so we move on from that, and ultimately, through this, we see, as Uga's thinking, it was like, okay, so if I cannot beat this pterosaur by itself, then I'll use its not its constituents, but its underlings to beat it, and that's the illegal move he pulls. And he pulls the alien headbutt. So what he does is he takes two of the dead pterosaur aliens and uses their heads to ram it into the pterosaur boss and slow him down and stop him. But yeah, that was honestly a really creative move, and I wasn't expecting to see that level of intelligence from Uga. But I mean, Uga hasn't shown himself to be stupid yet. I just haven't really seen him in anything super intelligent, battle IQ wise so far. But yeah, that's all there really was for the March 29th issue of Weekly Shonen Jump, and all I really have for episode 9 of Shonen Shorts. So thank you very much for watching.